Hello, and welcome to the Body Mind Biohacker Podcast, the podcast for busy individuals who want to improve their life and the lives of people around them. This show is designed to empower you with actionable, proven biohacks and life hacks to improve your health, optimize your body, and achieve happiness and success. Hi, I'm Ryan Kimball, a certified ketogenic fasting health coach and life coach. I'm your host. In this podcast, we will interview experts and people at the top of their game, as well as share insights that I've gathered over the years. Thank you for being with me today. Let's get right into it. Okay, today I want to talk to you about the ultimate weight loss plateau hack. And this means teaching you why the body goes into a weight loss plateau, what is actually occurring and what's behind it. And with that knowledge, you'll then be able to figure out what is going on with your own body and how you would hack your weight loss plateau. So there are some really interesting articles and books on weight loss out there, and a lot of them have amazing information. But I've noticed that most of them are missing or only mention in passing the real underlying reason for a weight loss plateau or being stuck at a certain weight. And this is your body's preset weight phenomena. It's called a body weight preset point in some cases. And it's a little bit of an under-researched area and not really known enough about, but I've noticed it in working with practically everyone I've helped as a client that people have these preset points of body weight, how much body fat their body seems to want to retain. And it's only when you reset your body weight set point that you'll really be able to control exactly how much you weigh and how much body fat you have, how much muscle mass you have. So we're kind of re-engineering the body's preset program, you could say, when we reset your weight loss plateau. So I wanted to go into what causes your body to be at this plateau and what are the presets that we need to work on. And once you know about them, you can then go, okay, well, this one applies to me, or you can just go through each one until you hit the one that works. Or more ideally, work with somebody, a coach or a healthcare practitioner who can help you narrow it down and find the real underlying cause for weight loss plateau. So I want to really bring this home, though. It is a body weight preset point that we're working on, and main things. This isn't to say this is a complete list, but this is a workable list. This list has been found to be true for everyone that I've ever worked with, and for associates that I've had the pleasure of learning from, true for them as well. So here are some of the things that preset where a person's body weight, body fat will be at. It could be a hormone preset, a metabolism preset, a level of toxicity in the person's body, stress, a level of stress that the body has come to have to accommodate because of the person's lifestyle. It could be an organ dysfunction, a weakness in the system of organs or one organ in our body that is causing us to retain or maintain a certain weight, body fat on the body. It could be a social factor, how the person's been socially conditioned, so to speak, to eat or live. And it could be from misinformation about how to handle any one of these preset points. So by preset, I mean that the body is set up to have a certain, let's take metabolism, for example. We'll go through each of these, but let's start with metabolism. So your body could be set to be running at a certain amount of metabolic rate each day, meaning that you burn X amount of calories, or you utilize your nutrients and your macronutrients in a certain level, certain manner of efficiency, which leads to you having a certain amount of body fat. We've all heard about people who have a fast metabolism, losing weight fast or not putting it on. Well, that is a preset situation for that person's body, but anybody can reset and preset their own metabolic rate to a certain degree. Obviously, there are different body types, but this is a grossly over-exaggerated statement when people say, well, it's just the type of body I have, or it's my genes, or whatever. It's more likely it's a set type of lifestyle that your family has retained generation to generation, or at least over the past couple, that has led to a certain body type. And if you went back 4 or 5 generations, you might find an entirely different body type, so to speak. So that could be a set metabolic rate that is causing you to be in a certain way. And this was one we're all pretty familiar with, right? But these others are a little less familiar. So I'm going to run through them. So toxicities. As you may know, your body holds on to toxicities in its fat cells. This is where it stores toxic substances that come into your body. So they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. They're just in your fat. Your fat's not being used for, moving your body around like your muscles would be, or it's not in your organs where it'd be affecting the function of everything you do internally. It's stored in your fat cells. So when you're trying to adjust the amount of body fat on your body, there is a resistance to getting rid of fat beyond a certain point because you've basically run out of room to store your toxicities. A very overweight person is sometimes also a very toxic person in their fat cells, and when they start to lose that body fat, they can experience these toxicities running out of their body or moving to organs where they cause serious complications. So the idea is, if you want to lose weight and you've hit a stall point, you may have a preset level of toxicity in your body that needs to be lessened. Your toxic load needs to be lessened. From cars that we drive, or they're in foods that we eat, the use of pesticides, herbicides, glyphosate you may have heard of, extremely toxic to the body. It's stored in our fat cells, and if you want to lose body fat, sometimes your body will resist it. It will find ways to keep that body fat on your body despite your best efforts because it's toxic. The other thing is organ dysfunction. Kind of goes right along with this. Sometimes we hit a toxicity level where it can't even be maintained in our body fat, so it starts to affect our organs and they start to have trouble functioning. Or it could just be you're eating something that your body's having an allergic reaction to. You start to have different situations in your body with your digestion, or maybe your liver gets too toxic, it can't handle the things you're dealing with, or it's experiencing an allergic reaction to wheat or whatever it might be. So this is another thing that is very common. I would say metabolism toxicities, organ dysfunction. We all have, in most cases, some level of dysfunction in all of these areas. But when they get to a certain level, then your body will not be able to lose weight because the organs can't function in a way that allows your body to detoxify and lose body fat, or to have a metabolic rate that allows you to lose body fat. It becomes so inefficient that it's too much energy to lose body fat. It has to just struggle to survive on a day-to-day basis to keep those organs functioning because there's dysfunction in there, meaning maybe some beginning stages of disease is occurring in one of your organs, or they've become so weakened by lack of nutrients or other factors that they're not able to function at the rate they should be able to. And then the other thing, which I find to be super common, as well as hormonal presets. So we all have a way in which our hormones are interacting and running our body. So they have different levels that they set at, and these tell the body how much, for example, food to eat, how much nutrients to take in. So if you're a 300-pound person, your hormones that tell you when you're hungry and when you're not hungry will be set at the level to make you maintain 300 pounds of body weight. So it can be very hard to maintain a lower body weight because your body is set to get hungry all the time so that it maintains that 300 pounds. So you have to actually reset, unset, and then reset your hormone levels. And this can be done with diet and with different hacks. And I will give you some amazing hacks at the end here so that you can use them to start adjusting things. So the two hormones that affect your hunger, the hunger hormone is called ghrelin, and the lowering of appetite hormone is called leptin. And these interact very closely with hormones like insulin and cortisol. So there's this harmonious level that has to be there. And if your hormones are set to make you have a certain level of body fat and body weight, it's practically impossible without resetting that hormonal interconnection, that hormonal balance. It's practically impossible to lose weight permanently and healthily without doing that. Again, it's not hard to reset and preset things to a better, leaner body type, but it does take very specific actions. It doesn't happen by accident or because you'd like it to happen or because somebody says you should lose weight. It just doesn't automatically occur. You have to do specific things. There is a right way that works to approach these things, and I find that most people are suffering from misinformation about how to reset your hormones or how to change your metabolism. They're told, well, eat less, exercise more, and that'll make your metabolism higher. Or have a huge breakfast every day, and that'll make sure you start out the day with a lot of protein, and you'll, have a faster metabolism throughout the day. Some of these things have some truth in them, and sometimes they work for some people, but they're not necessarily the exactly correct information, or they might not be the correct tool for you to use. So that's why it is important to educate yourself about how your body works, and also to work with someone who really knows how to do this and has gotten results, proven results over and over again. So, the last thing I would say as far as things that preset a person to be at a certain body weight is the social factor, the social conditioning affects all of these things. If you are always told that you need to eat a certain number of meals a day, or that it's not polite to leave your plate with any food on it, or the type of food you eat should be very high protein and lots of meat and potato type meals. For some people that might work, and then we get the idea that, it works for him, why wouldn't it work for me? Obviously everybody's so different, body types are so different, and even if you have the same body type as somebody else, you have different circumstances, you have a different health history, you've been exposed to different things throughout your life, you have different stress levels, etc., etc. So no one diet or style of eating will work for everyone to attain their ideal body weight. So it is very important that you understand this body weight preset point. This body weight set point is a real thing, and there are ways to hack through this, and I'm going to give you some of those today. But I just want to make sure you understand that what I'm giving you here is been very effective for many people, but it may not be the exact thing you need, or maybe it's not in the right sequence. So it does take some listening to your body and or working with someone who can help you interpret what your body's telling you. And this means listening to your own biofeedback. And I always like to stress this in almost everything I go over. You have to learn to pay attention to what's going on and be aware of what your body is telling you. What is the information it's giving back? There are literally trillions of data points in your body in the form of cells, in your microbiome, and in every little chemical reaction that occurs that give you feedback in the form of, this makes me feel good, this makes me feel energetic, or it makes me feel tired, this makes me feel bloated, or it makes me feel digestively healthy, this causes me to have cramping, this doesn't. All these different things that happen have a cause behind them, and that's the biofeedback system I'm talking about. It's really important to learn to listen to that, and also pay attention to how your body shape changes. That's obviously not as quick, but it is something you can use. It's very simple to do this, but it does require that you actually do it. So I wanted to run through some information here that will help you, learn how to biohack your own body weight preset point. And the first thing is, and probably most effective thing, is controlling your insulin levels. So insulin is a hormone. It's made by specific cells in the pancreas, and it actually controls the amount of sugar in your blood. It tells your body when to move that sugar into cells. However, it's very easy for your body to become insulin resistant and have this resistance to insulin because you're eating so many carbs all the time that it's constantly making your pancreas produce insulin. And when that happens, your body starts to resist insulin and resist the operations that insulin tells your body to do, because too much insulin in your blood is also toxic, just like glucose. So you actually, it's an inverse ratio. The lower your insulin, the more sensitive your body tends to become to insulin, and therefore the more responsive, right? So as soon as your insulin starts being too high for too long, you start storing extra body fat, and it becomes this situation where you're constantly stimulating your pancreas, and it just keeps trying to produce more and more insulin. Your body can't use it. So the pancreas thinks because your body's not using the insulin, it needs to produce more. So it keeps producing more, and you get this toxic load of insulin, and that leads to an inability to lose weight and actually becoming nutrient deficient, because insulin also tells your body when and what nutrients to absorb in many cases. Certain vitamins and minerals will not be utilized as effectively when your insulin is high. So the first hack is really simple. It is simply to lower your carbohydrate load, your carbohydrate intake on a daily basis. It really is that simple. It sometimes takes some discipline, but I'm not even talking about going super low or becoming completely keto. If you just lowered it by 20 grams a day, that would do wonders. It would start you on the correct path, right? And eventually you could get into a ketogenic lifestyle, which is ideal for teaching your body to be able to burn fat for fuel, which is the best type of fuel to burn in order to lose weight, of course. So, but in conjunction, this is kind of a double hack. So while you're lowering your carbohydrate load by at least 20 grams a day, assuming you're a fairly high carb, if you can get down to around 50 grams of carbs a day from a high carb diet, you're doing really well. But in conjunction with that, start practicing fasting. Specifically, start with intermittent fasting, and most people have heard of this by now. It is simply a method of eating and changing your schedule. So most people start with a simple skipping of breakfast, and pushing breakfast a little later in the day, and not eating for about 16 hours, and then having an 8-hour window during which they do eat. And when you hit that 16 hours not eating, 8-hour window where you have your 2 or 3 meals, that is called intermittent fasting, and it changes things metabolically in your body, starts to balance your hormones, starts to reset your hormones towards a thinner, leaner version of you, basically. And it also helps lower your insulin. And when your insulin gets lower, it helps with this hunger appetite reset as well. So you're less hungry. It's kind of counterintuitive because you're fasting, you're not eating for a longer period of time, but this actually helps reset your hunger levels when it's done consistently over a period of time. So the first hack, being a kind of double hack, would be to start doing a intermittent fasting schedule, having an 8-hour eating window and a 16-hour fasting window, while getting your food down, your carbohydrate load and sugar load down to around 50 grams a day. Of course, if you're already around 50 and you really want to crank things up, then it's just taking things to the next level. Extend your fasting even longer and lower your carbs down even more. You can even go into what's called the OMAD, or 1 meal a day. It's just a 24-hour fast, but somebody cool thought up the word OMAD. So it's generally referred to as OMAD, and this means you have 1 meal a day, and during that 1 meal you eat a lot of calories, but you keep it ketogenic. It's low carb even for just having 1 meal a day, and you'll get the best benefits from it. Now, that said, fasting has a lot of other benefits that just should be mentioned. It helps prevent all sorts of disease processes, and it helps lower inflammation in the body, so you're less likely to become arthritic, and helps prevent a person's cognitive decline as well. And if you really wanted to learn more about fasting, there's a very amazing book written by Dave Asprey, who has written a lot of amazing books, but this one is one of his recent ones, called Fast This Way. and he really delves into how to use fasting in all aspects of your life. So I definitely recommend checking out Fast This Way by Dave Asprey to get the full scoop on how to use fasting in your life. Now, the other thing that you can do is change the way you eat food in as far as its order, which food you eat first, second, and last, and add some other things into your diet. So we have the low carb fasting aspect, and then we also have, let's say you can't go low carb, you're just like not able to confront that at this time. You crave them so bad that you can lower them a little bit, but getting down to 50 grams is just out of out of the question. One simple thing you can do is to change the sequence of the foods that you eat. So what you want to do is you want to start each meal with some sort of green vegetable or vegetable. And you want to have that as the first thing you eat. The first thing you put in your mouth is a green vegetable. This is because of the fiber in it. It actually creates this gelatinous mass in your digestive tract, which slows down the absorption of everything you eat after it. And it helps your body not have a glucose spike and therefore an insulin spike. It helps keep everything even, which tells your body it doesn't have to store fat. As long as your glucose and your sugars don't spike, your body is much less likely to store the food you're eating as fat. So start every meal with a vegetable. Before you put something else in your mouth, it could be just having a cucumber on hand and eating half of that before your meal. Whatever you can make work for you. If you can cook a whole vegetable dish and have that at the beginning of the meal, fine, do that. But it's really not hard to start each meal with a green starter. And that will I've seen people who don't change anything else, just change the order of the foods they eat. They start every meal with that green starter, that vegetable, and it's a whole different game for them. And then after you have that, then have the rest of your meal, and try to have it in the order of your fats and proteins next, and then any carbs you have in the meal, to have that at the end, and having a dessert as the very last thing that you eat. And having all of this within a window of, don't spread it out over hours and hours. Have it within an hour of each other, right? This will greatly reduce the spikes even from the sugary foods that you're eating in that meal. Of course, if you can lower the sugars or eliminate them completely, that is ideal. But this hack, change the order in which you eat your foods, is really amazing. The other thing is to use apple cider vinegar in your diet. So, within 30 minutes before your meal, or right with the beginning of your meal, have an apple cider vinegar drink, and just have like a tall glass of water, 8 ounces or something, and put a tablespoon or less, it doesn't have to be a full tablespoon, but if you can do a full tablespoon, that's best, of apple cider vinegar, and mix that with the water, drink it or drink some of it, and this actually tells your muscles to soak up glucose and get it out of your bloodstream post-digestion. So as you're digesting that food, this vinegar being present there helps tell your body to absorb all these sugar, glucose specifically, that is now in your bloodstream, and get it out of there so it doesn't get turned into fat. So this is another great hack. It has all sorts of other benefits. There have been many books actually written on the benefits of vinegar and apple cider vinegar, but doing this simple one will help you with making sure that you don't have these glucose spikes and insulin spikes, right? And then the last hack I just wanted to give you today is to put some clothes on your carbs. And this just means if you're having a snack, don't have just like a piece of bread. Have a piece of bread with some butter and maybe a nut butter on it, or some avocado on top of it. And this will slow down again the spike of your glucose. Or if you're having a pasta meal, don't just have your green starter and pasta. Have some meatballs and some cheese on it, some fat and protein mixed in there too. Always put as much with the carbohydrates, even if it's raising your calories, it will help you. If you're having a bagel, put cream cheese on it. All these different types of things. Have some sort of protein and fat with whatever carbs you're having, and that will also greatly flatten your glucose curve from the food you're eating. Now, That said, I just want to give some credit here. Those 3 hacks, although the apple cider vinegar one's pretty generally known, but the order of eating the food and putting clothes on your carbs, these actually come from the author of Glucose Revolution. She has an Instagram called Glucose Goddess, Jessie Inspa, and she has written an amazing book, which I recently had the pleasure of reading. She shares a lot of other hacks about how she kind of biohacked the glucose spike that we experience with the high carb diet that we have these days in this world. So I highly recommend that book, Glucose Revolution, available online, and that will give you a lot of amazing information you can use. So the other thing, of course, is to lower your body's toxic load. This is kind of self-explanatory, and you can do that, by working with somebody who can get you through a detox. There are plenty of detoxes out there to try. One of the things also is just start eating organic. Your body will start cleaning itself up. If you just lower the amount of toxins you're taking in, your body will be more able to handle toxicities, because the organs in your body, like your kidneys and your liver, are meant to detox your body, but when they're overloaded by a constant inflow, then they have to handle that, and they can't concentrate on the toxicities that are within the body. So just by lowering the toxic foods that you're eating, by eating less processed foods, by getting rid of all oils, soybean, these type of vegetable oils, and by making sure you're as close to 100% organic as you can be, you will allow your body to actually handle the toxicities within it without even doing a detox. Now, that said, definitely eating a ketogenic diet and fasting will also help your body naturally detox. So I'm not going to go over a specific detox program here. Just by getting ketogenic and adding fasting to your diet, you actually enable your body to concentrate on its own detox capacity. So I just wanted to give you those few hacks there. And if you just did those, and if you were already not having a good time with your health, or you've been stuck in a certain body weight, just doing these hacks will definitely help you move in the right direction. So hopefully that's really helpful, and you can use that on a day-to-day basis. If you have any questions or wanted more information about anything I just went over, of course, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. As a biohacker and health coach, I am always interested in helping others improve their lives. This is my passion. This is what I do. I help others. So I'd like to extend this offer to you. Send me any question about your health or your life, and I will send you back a sincere answer with an actionable strategy that you can apply. No obligation. Just go to longevityfitnessandhealth.com and enter your question on the contact page, or check me out on Instagram at longevityfitnessandhealth and DM me. I've enjoyed bringing you this podcast episode today. Thanks, and have a great day.